Alright, I'm going to show you how to make tie rods. Basically, as you can see here from my Apache, this one's about to go bad. You can already see the curve on the end. You can see the stress marks here showing that this is about to break. So before this breaks completely, I'm going to use this as a measurement to make my new tie rods. Basically what I do is I take a threaded rod. Here it is here. As you can see, there's a threaded rod. I got these at Home Depot. You can get them wherever you can, Ace, wherever sells them. And it's basically like a 3-foot screw with no head on it. And all I do is I simply take that, cut it, and make myself a rod. Now here's a partial one showing you the rod end on it, and then what's left of my old threaded rod. So simply to get my measurement, I use a 3mm screw, put it through the Apache part so I can get my length. Make sure it's straight, so it gives me a chance to make sure that it looks about even. Then I take the Traxxas end. Now in this case I'm using a Traxxas end. You can use whatever brand you like. I'm using the Traxxas end. And then I simply mark where I'm going to cut it, so that way I can fit that screw. Now here, if I cut on the inside of the purple line I already made, that should be good enough for the threaded end. So let me cut that. With regards to cutting it, I'm using bolt cutters. You can sit there with a little hacksaw and cut it. I like bolt cutters. It makes life nice and easy. It's just, I normally hold this in a vise while I'm doing it, so kind of doing it in front of the camera here is not easy. Hopefully I can get this done. So I basically pinch it, cut it, and I got my piece. So now with the piece in place, and here's the piece that I cut. You see, it's not pretty. I usually take it to a grinder and kind of round this off a little bit. Now I'm going to go do that very quickly and I'll start back my video. I've done this before with my Stampede. As you can see, there it is on my Stampede. I've used them before. They work very well. They're very strong, they haven't bent, and nothing has gone wrong with them. So, let me putting that down just to show you how this is. Okay, here's basically the piece I cut off, and as you can see it's a very rough end. And then what I do is I simply round it off. There you go, I round it off. So that way it's easier to put the tip on. I do that on a bench grinder. I didn't want to have to relocate the camera and do all that, so I just very quickly went over and did it in about 5 seconds, so I'm back. Anyway, I then take this piece, add my tie rod on it, add my tie rod to it, just like that. I start it off by hand, and then what I like to do from there is to hold it with a nice set of pliers in the center. In this case I use vice grip pliers, I think some people call them, locking pliers, other people call them. And then I use my Traxxas tool to finish screwing it on the rest of the way. So here it is. Makes life a lot easier. You use all tools that come with the Traxxas cars, or you can buy them separately. So anyway, let me just keep tightening this up. Let me move my grips a little more. Oh, sorry, I didn't grab it good. So now that it's kind of tightened, I'm going to go one more turn to try and get in the same direction. I double check my measurements with my stock piece. So here you go. There's that one. Put that through the ball end. Use another screw. Put that through the ball end here. And as you can tell, if I make one straight, let's see, if I make one straight, you see that this one here is parallel, this one's off, which tells me mine is still a little long, so I have to screw it in a little further. So let's get that and screw it in a little further. Okay, let's make sure they're facing the right direction. They're about facing the same direction here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the screw in again. Okay, now I have them both. Okay, now they're both perpendicular. So as you can see, they're both perpendicular there. So I know I'm very close to the measurement, maybe not exact. So with this, I can simply put it on the Apache, do the normal adjustments, and then I've got myself a whole new link arm that's solid, because we're using a steel rod. If it bends, you can always bend it straight on a vise or simply make a new one. Here's the only drawbacks with this. Unlike a normal tie rod that when you loosen up one side, it basically either expands or contracts on the ball end tips, it will not happen like that. What I've done basically is you basically have to hold one end, take off the wheel, and just turn this to adjust it so that way you can get it. So it's not as fine as the ball ends you can buy, but it's a great replacement. So again, just simply pinch in the middle, turn the outsides, and then you have your ends. And you can adjust that way, but you can't turn the middle and they both will expand and contract. You'll either move one way or the other. just because there's no reverse thread on one side. So sorry about that, I kind of got distracted for a moment. As I said, there's no reverse thread on one end, so you pretty much have to hold one end and simply tighten one end and loosen it accordingly to adjust. What I find works out very well is that I make different lengths for different purposes. Since this is so cheap in comparison to actually buying ball ends, that I have several ones for different sizes. You saw the ones on my Apache that were very long. Here, excuse me, on my Stampede that were very long. Here's some shorter ones for the Apache. I have ones I use for the Summit. And I just simply put a label on it, or I color coat them with paint, and then I can do different adjustments like that. So here's a nice, quick, easy way to make turnbuckles if you need them. Again, here, this piece here, I think cost me, if I recall right, was I think was $1.97 is what I paid for the tie rod. And guessing out how many I can get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can probably get out 10 or, you know, about, in this case, in the Apache's case, I can get about 10 or 11 of these tie rods out from one rod for basically $1.97, I think is what I paid, or whatever it was I paid. So that's my idea. Hopefully it'll work for you guys. Again, it's just simply a tie rod. I'm using Traxxas ends. You can use whatever brand you want. My store carries these by the ton, my local hobby shop, so it's very easy for me to get this, and that's what I use. So I hope this helps out. You take it easy, guys. Bye-bye. All right, so here's the finished product. As you can see there, let me take off the body. You can see it now very cleanly how I remade the A-arms for my Apache. So there you go. They both are on there, and I hope that helps you out.